Good morning. Sorry about the tardiness of this presentation. This is the ReadiStep training for 2014 for Southwest Academy. Thank you for your time and your attention to this. Try and make this as quick as possible. I know a lot of you have run ReadiStep before, so for most of you this is going to be a refresher. For the other ones, we'll also have for everybody we'll have a face-to-face session as well. First part of this is ReadiStep overview. What is ReadiStep, the ReadiStep basics, ReadiStep and BCPS, and the key dates. ReadiStep is a college and career readiness assessment. Basically, it's giving us as a school and as a school system an idea of what percentage of our kids College Board feels are on track, and it is part of a line of assessments, PSAT, NMSQT, and SAT. It's kind of a predictor of success in college. So here you can see it's 3 multiple choice sections. There's reading, writing, and math. There's no essay or student-produced response questions. It is all paper and pencil. You can see that we have a grand total of 120 minutes of assessment and 131 questions. There's 4 sections, 20 calculator, 20 non-calculator questions. Those calculators will be provided to you, 20 minutes with calculator, 20 minutes without calculator, and those will be provided to you through Mr. Purcell. It's administered in one school day. Ours is going to be the 15th, and one start time at the school site. The primary test date is the 15th. Limited makeup test window is until the 23rd. Non-standard tests and ordering are available, so we have a few students who are verbatim, so there are reader scripts. We also have another student who has large print, and so those things have been provided for him. All accommodations are allowed and should be provided, similar to other state mandated tests. There's no need to get approval through College Board, so we've taken care of all of that stuff. If you have students who have selected sections or calculator or verbatim reading or extended time, all of those accommodations will be listed in your test group. If you do not have an accommodation sheet, then your students do not have any accommodations, and they should stick to the regular script. So you can see our primary test date is the 15th. You can also see our makeup dates and when I have to get things back in. Our score reports will receive those back December 8th. In particular for math teachers, ELA teachers, those test scores, we can also actually go back and go through the exam with students, so they're actually very, very useful. Some of our roles, this is test security part, supervisors, manual, and then security incidents. So those are all of my responsibilities, the ordering and all of that stuff, the distribution to you guys once you get them, and then also making sure that those test booklets stay secure. So here are the list of responsibilities. So you are going to be test examiners. So you're a state certified employee of BCPS that can administer the test, and primary individual who is responsible for anything that's going on within the classroom that you are assigned. We will have some accommodators. We will not have any proctors. The only chance that you're going to have an accommodator is if you are in one of the special education rooms. Supervisor's manual, the directions which you will actually get this afternoon, pages 13 through 19, those have been printed for you. I'll actually also have a couple extra copies of those for the test date. And those things need to be read verbatim. We cannot stray from those at all. It's part of the reason why I'm giving them to you ahead of time. So test administration security procedures, that checklist is also in your packet. Making sure that all of those standard security things go on. It's key to remember that it costs for these companies, costs about $10,000 to write an individual question with all the testing and things that they have to go through. So test security is very, very key. We don't want to make sure that we don't have any testing violations. Storing materials, they're locked currently. They're locked up in my room. Once you get them, you also must make sure that those materials are in a secure place. Wherever you go, they go. Lock them up in a closet. Just remember that you are responsible for those once they leave the testing office. Preventing security, so we want to store them in a locked area, never leave test materials unattended, remain alert during the test, make sure kids aren't using their cell phones, those kinds of things. I would suggest having students either bring their cell phones up or show you that they're powered off, and we want to make sure that we don't have any of those testing incidents like that. Make sure that nothing in terms of the test is able to leave, and ensure that no students again use cell phone during the test. Ensure that all accommodations are given correctly the first time. That first time there being very, very key. If something were to happen, contact me first. I'll contact the assessment office, and I'll fill out a test incident report if the office tells me to do so, and then I go through the other procedures, as you can see. But if you have anything, you have any questions, make sure that you contact me first. I'll contact the Office of Assessment to make sure that what we need to report. Handling of materials. So I've gone through the receiving of the testing materials, checking materials. I've done that. All the packing materials and the storing of materials. Just again, make sure that you handle those test materials as secure items. There's no makeup form for ReadiStep, so if we have students who are absent Thursday, Friday, we can do makeup testing with them. If a discrepancy arises, we can make sure that we call the testing office, and I have to make sure that they are inventoried at all times. When we get the testing materials within the testing rooms, make sure that they're arranged so that students face the same direction. All chairs are placed directly behind those proceeding in a row. This is one of the few times we want you to take out of grouping. Make sure that they don't face face-to-face or face opposite directions. Make sure that you can walk around and you can have access to each student. Make sure they have a clock. Make sure you can also use the countdown clocks that we use. See students who have calculators with large characters of 1 inch or more. Raise displays, those kinds of things, to where other test takers cannot see them. So you're going to get your ReadiStep manual, the test books, the answer folders, non-testing materials, so pencils, that kind of stuff. You should already have a clock, you should already have a pencil, sharpener in your room, calculators, and then also the accommodations for all students. Pre-ID labels, you guys will have those. They'll already be on the test book, not the test booklet, but on the answer forms. So you'll have those. During testing, so the distribution and testing procedures, provide a test book to each student, one at a time, go along each row, and then collect test answers in the same order. That way that they come back to me in the same order that you distribute them. Make sure that you give answer sheet to each student and keep one answer sheet with the test book, and then follow the directions. Make sure you do it in an orderly fashion. Make sure that every student has a pre-ID label. If not, they must bubble in. Schools may want to have answer sheets completed ahead of time. We did not have the ability to do that because we were unable to get the testing materials on time with the transition between me and Archelaus. So we had to be aware of that. That's part of the reason why we're going to schedule an extra 20 to 30 minutes for the bubbling of students. Make sure that you read the directions very much in terms of word for word. In fact, it should be verbatim. Try to limit emergency bathroom passes, and then ensure that you account for all test materials at all times. If a student were to leave, make sure that they don't take any of the testing materials with them. Again, directions must be verbatim. Directions for guiding answer sheet begins on page 13. I do have copies of that for you. Again, that will be provided for you. And the ReadiStep test administration, again, are on those same pages, which I do have for you. After the tests, make sure we're going to collect all answer sheets. So when you collect the answer sheets from each individual student, do not have them pass them along rows. I want you to go to them and collect them each individually. This will ensure that you have an answer sheet for each student. You are accountable for those. Make sure that students do not put their answer sheets inside the test book. If they're inside the test book, they will not be scored. Count the answer sheets before you collect the test books. Verify the count and make sure that it matches up for each one of the students that you pass them out to. After accounting for the answer sheets, collect the test books from the students individually in the same order in which you distributed them. Count the used textbooks, verify that count, and have the test book for each student. Collecting of test books, so you again fill out the school use only sections of the answer sheet if applicable. So again, that's accommodation. So if you have a student who had large type, or if you're using the reader script, those are our only two accommodations that we'll have, and hopefully we won't have to void any books. One of the cool things with ReadiStep are the reports that we get, so you can see the different reports and the data that's provided for us, which gives us an idea of college and career readiness for our students. This is an example of one of the student reports, example of the school summary report, and there are some of the insight skills, so the kids get copies of the skills that they do well and what they need to work on. They also have access to an online learning tool which has learning preferences, a plan for high school, plan for college. They can also explore colleges by location, majors, and costs, which that's provided for students. And that is all. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure that you come to the training, so that the face-to-face training, so that if you have those questions, you can ask them. Thank you.